Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Angelo Valenton. I'm here to share with you an idea called Mission Meets Marketplace. I've been a corporate career animal for like 16 years, and I've been after that an entrepreneur for like 19 years. I've thrown my hat in a number of businesses ranging from consumer goods distribution, third-party logistics. Workforce solutions, learning and development. But the business that I've been privileged to set up, that's really very close to my heart, is the social enterprise called Power for All. Um, Mission meets marketplace. So what is mission? Mission is a job we need to do. Mission is our purpose for existing. And hopefully for businesses, a mission is what they use to align their business direction so that it addresses a commitment to social betterment. In a number of organizations, you will have like mission statements. In many cases, we've seen that companies try to develop a mission statement when they've achieved a certain milestone in the life cycle of their businesses, particularly when they're already established. Then they try to find a nice mission statement. So what we're trying to espouse here is that can we make mission not like something you look into when you've established your business, but something which is a guiding point, a starting point of your or of the business you'd like to build. Uh, in many cases, mission is like giving back, but the only way when you say you give back is after you've taken your fill, right? You've taken your fill, then it's time to give back. We have a mission statement. So what we'd like to explore now is maybe the reverse, wherein for us to get, we've got to give. And we will only get as good as we give. Um, so people these days, because of the amplified capitalism, multitude of choices, um, awareness for social inequalities, customers are very critical of the companies that they patronize. Not only do they like to buy products, but they would like put the company up on stage and scrutinize them and ask, what does this company stand for? Does it align with my own set of values? So you will see people now start to look for values when they make choices in purchasing products or services. So do the values of these companies align with my own? 60% would probably buy or even boycott a company's products and services depending on their stand on certain social issues. Diversity, and all sorts of social issues. 3 in 4 employees you will find now and more that when they try to look for a job, they not only look for a paycheck, but they see if this company will provide me with an environment where I could thrive, where I can find some purpose, where I can find some meaning. So you see how the mindset of the market has started to shift from a very consumeristic kind of model to something where we start to demand more from from the companies that supply us with products and services. Now, some examples of companies that have been successful in putting mission at the focal point of their business is Unilever, where now they have looked at various strategies to focus on climate change, nature regeneration, reducing plastics, creating opportunities for more and more people, addressing, helping you build your self-esteem. And they've seen that the products that would promote this kind of well-being are actually the brands that are performing better than the other brands. But then you say, well, Unilever is like a 100-year-old established company. Of course, they can afford to do that now. So let's take a look at maybe some more more recent companies, like 20 years ago, Tesla, around 20 years ago, Tesla was founded, and the mission, well, controversial once in a while, no? But the point here is that we look at their roots, and their roots is how can we accelerate our world's transition into sustainable energy. So that was the vision, that was the mission. And 20 years forward, you will see that they dominate the marketplace, and they've invited a lot of competitors to also join the marketplace. And here is where I think the idea of disruptive technology had been, coined and introduced, where normally businesses would take a look at what's out there, and then let's see if we can do it better. We can make it cheaper, better, sexier, cooler. But what disruptive technology is let's break down what exists, and let's create something new and better. So that's what they did. Other companies also that you can draw some inspiration from, that has a very so strong sense of mission. Maybe even a younger company, Airbnb. Airbnb is also an industry disruptor, where they have literally turned the world into a global village, where everyone can now be a traveler, everyone can now be a tourist, and they have created opportunities where we can all discover and experience very quaint cultures in the farthest corners of the world in a way that hotels are unable to achieve. And they've also introduced some economic activities again into these little corners where these places that haven't seen any travelers or tourists before. So it helped those kinds of places create some of their own local domestic wealth. Spotify is another amazing, inspiring organization. Before there was Spotify, music was controlled by the big record label companies. And they look at the music industry again like a transaction. What is the kind of music that appeals to the masses? Where can I get a lot of sales from the records? I can and they can either build your career or kill your career, or not give you the opportunity at all. And when you're successful, they take 95% of the business generated by the artist. Or in Spotify, they've created a way to democratize the music industry, where you don't need to pitch yourself to large record labels, where you can create your music career from your garage, from your bedroom, and the world is able to access a lot more types of music from very unknown talents that have many of them have become very successful through this kind of model. You will see even more inspiring stories of companies that have used mission as the focal point of their business. These are more recent startups. Farm in a Box is a startup that was founded in Kenya. And the mission of this startup is how can we address the issue of food security, where most of our agriculture, particularly in, let's say, developing markets, are heavily dependent on the weather, for instance, for things such as irrigation. If you don't have the rains, then it's going to be a tough year. So they have created an idea where you can put your agriculture, your entire agriculture, literally inside the box, where it's a complete kit of solar that powers, let's say, irrigation inside the box. They identify the kind of seeds that would grow in a vertical manner. So this, where also vertical kind of farming is introduced in a very climate resilient kind of structure, because you will see it's enclosed. So extreme hot weather or extreme rains is not going to get in the way. The slides died. Okay. And you will see many others. Obsidian Learning is a startup from the Philippines. So what they did is, when the COVID broke out in 2020, so they found a way to bridge education to the students, particularly in areas where conventional schools are not available. So they aim to address the gaps in terms of education. And other companies like Reach 52, I believe they were established in Singapore. 52 stands for 52% of the global population has no or poor access to healthcare. So the mission is we have to reach that 52% by creating a platform where healthcare becomes more accessible in those spaces. And you will find more inspiring startups. And what is interesting about the startups is that typically in generating business, building business, the conventional way of thinking is you go out there, look for where the demand is, and throw yourself in there and see if you can do things better than the existing players are. It follows a very typical. This two opposite pyramids, where you have your population is like this, you have a few here, a lot here, and then you have the opposite wealth pyramid that shows where the wealth is skewed, right? So you have the huge part of your wealth is skewed towards the smaller part of the population, and the bigger part of the population has less of that wealth. So what a lot of mission-centric entrepreneurs are trying to do is to flip that pyramid, or at the very least balance it out, where you have income being generated in a large part of the population that used to not have it. Okay? So they address real social issues such as education, food security, access to healthcare, wellness, opportunities, livelihood, etc. And the reason, the purpose of that is, can we have the bigger base of the population be able to generate wealth? Because if they're able to, then they start to join the market. And if they join the market, then you have a lot more customers than, these people up there at the top of the triangle. So that's the thinking. So if we are able to drive business with the mission to uplift, for instance, people from down here, and making them better, wellness factors, enablers addressed, more purchasing power, then that is where you get your profit from. And they believe it is a much more sustainable way of doing business. I will, well, okay, then you ask, how do I start a mission-centric business? Everyone will have their own discoveries, but for me, I think these are what's important. Obviously, you start with locating what is that real human problem that exists, and can you anchor your business around it? So, in other words, can we look for a real problem, maybe down here, where the social inequality exists? Can we solve that problem? And the business model then anchors itself around it. Be radical, authentic, consistent. Radical means helps you stand out more because you're different and you make a difference. You have to be authentic because people will find out sooner or later if you're doing a con job, if you're not honest. That gets you. People find out. And obviously consistent because you have to stick with the plan over a long period of time because you're certain to bump into a lot of bumps and hurdles and a lot of failures also. So you have to just be consistent at it. And this is interesting. And don't build customers, you build a community. Customers are like commodities, people with money. Do they have the money? Then okay, I will sell to you. But instead, you build a community that supports your mission, and you grow together. Okay? You create wealth together, and check for impact, because impact is the only way you'll know if you're doing a good job. Close to the end, the entrepreneurs will save the world. Yeah, because entrepreneurs and founders are able to do things that large establishments are not capable of doing. They are not bound by policies, bureaucracy, conventional way of thinking, established workflows. They create things from scratch, from a blank canvas, which is a very good way to start. They live in an age where there's rapid technological advancements and at the same time heightened awareness for social issues. So they're able to bridge these things together and come out with something really radical that helps save the world. And these entrepreneurs just have the enough crazy in them to actually make it happen. Okay, now the close of my presentation, I'd like to share with you a video that was put together by employees of Power for All last year. And what they did is they gathered all the photos made through the years and turned it into a non-fancy video that chronicles the journey of Power for All from being a humble social enterprise to being a leading innovator, at least in the space where it operates. But at the same time, it was also evidence that tells me that these people actually associate themselves with the mission and they think they are a big part of it. So let me share that video.
Rap to the stay strong, stay strong. To the tail, to the tail. Ain't easy, I can tell. I can tell. Gotta stay strong, stay strong. Rap to the stay strong, stay strong. Ain't easy, I can tell. I can tell. Gotta stay strong, stay strong.
Thank you very much.